Every time you fold up a cardboard box for recycling instead of the trash and take that blue bin out to the curb, you are doing your part to improve the planet. I know that process because it happens at my house all the time. Doing it by myself or with my wife won't make that much of a difference, but a lot of us together can. Young Living strives to be that kind of company that can make a real impact on the earth. We want to be an example to other companies and an example to you to make conscientious choices to help this one planet we have. Hello and welcome to Young Living's podcast, The Wild Drop. My name is Jacob Young, your host. Young Living is the world leader in producing and distributing premium essential oils, and this podcast will provide you with drops of information about Young Living, including stories, history, product information, lots of little fun facts, and even more. Well, Lyndi Smith, welcome to the podcast. It's your very first time in the podcast room, in the podcast studio, and
yes,
on the
it is.
podcast. How are you feeling so far?
Good. Thanks for inviting me.
Anytime. So you've now taken on kind of a new role since coming back to Young Living.
Yes.
I think it'd be great if you did a little bit of a briefing, I guess, per se, of kind of like your history, how you joined Young Living, why you like Young Living, or however you see fit.
Okay, sounds good. So I have been with Young Living for 20 years, if you can believe that. So I'll try to make this recap really short and sweet because it could get really lengthy. I started fresh out of high school. I was going to school to be a nurse at the time, and Young Living's call center was just a great schedule for me. So I could work part-times in the evening, go to college full-time during the day. And when it came time for me to transition from Young Living into my nursing program, the company offered me a job to manage their call center. And I was getting married at the time, and so it was kind of a good opportunity to step into a leadership role and kind of put my schooling on hold. Well, that decision changed the rest of my life. So I ended up managing the call center, switching my degree to business, and so I lost all my science and nursing credits. However, that education, that experience is invaluable, especially when it comes to the products that we carry.
Yes.
So I'm excited. I'm still excited that I did that. And I switched to business. I then decided to join the marketing team, and I kind of grew up with Young Living from there.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
Well, thank you for sharing that. We both started in the call center, so that's something we have in common right there. Honestly, I do miss working in the call center. I thought that was one of the most fun parts of like going through all the different departments was working at the call center.
We should have everyone that start on the phones because it teaches you so many things.
Yes.
And you really understand the business better when you're on the phones, I think.
You get the inside loop of what the brand partners experience. I think it'd be a good
thing. It's the new onboarding program.
Yeah.
We're doing that.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think that's great. So last year we talked about how sustainable Young Living is and all the practices that we've been doing with sustainability, from farm practices to the practices that we have here inside the corporate walls and the corporate business and whatnot. And I think it'd be really great if you could kind of quickly recap on all those things. And if you want an in-depth version of everything that Lyndi's talking about, we did a podcast episode last year, like I said. So you're more than welcome to go back and find that one and listen to it. But this is going to be a recap plus an update of the plans that we have for the future when it comes to sustainability for Young Living.
Okay, cool. So as Jacob mentioned, there's a full podcast on this, so I'm going to give you just the highlights that I remember and those that I feel like are really just invaluable to who we are. So the new building that we're in, I guess it's not as new, but when we joined or we created this building and we came over here, there are 2 awards that we won. They're both Global Green Awards. So the building itself that we go to every single day is very green. It's climate friendly. It's sustainable, from our recycle program to the charging stations we have outside. There's many things that this building offers that I think a lot of companies are going towards but aren't there yet. So
yes.
As Gary built this building and envisioned it, he was definitely ahead of his times, making sure that it was green and sustainable.
Very much. So I think one of the coolest things is I always share with people that this building that my dad designed was designed many years ago, even before we moved into Lehigh 1, over in Thanksgiving Point. And so to think that this building that we're in is technically, if you think about it, 25 plus years old from a blueprint design standpoint, and that it's actually kind of modern and futuristic in a way is really cool to think.
That's very common to everything he did, right?
Yes.
He was always thinking one step ahead of everyone else. It's very cool.
And I love that we have all the solar panels. I know we had something along the lines of like most electricity efficient building or something like that with one of the awards that we have downstairs. So lots of awards that this building has won for being green, sustainable, and self-efficient as well. So
Yes, very cool. So with the building, we also are doing things on our farms. So we do weeding with goats or sheep, I should say, which is really cool. And then we also did a project, was it just last year, where we are saving like 260 million tons of water every year with our distillation process.
Yes.
So we're implementing and improving the way that we distill oils to make sure it's sustainable. I think those are things that differentiate us from the competition, and we need to tell those stories more. So the farms themselves are kind of following the lead of the building and finding ways to be sustainable.
Yes, correct. And the new additions to the steam generators has been fantastic as well. That's really reduced the costs on not only diesel, but also water as well, because we don't have to have as much water. It just creates the pressure with it.
Yeah.
So that's super cool. Well, that's a quick recap. But what are our plans for the future? Everyone always wants to know what's next.
Okay, sounds good. So there's a couple things that I can talk about that I think that'll be impactful. So packaging. Packaging is something that all companies do, right? Because we have a finished good product, and it's something that we need to be considerate of the environment, of sustainability. And so everything that we create, we're thinking about that, and we're thinking about it in 3 ways. So we try to first make sure the product's recyclable. So any packaging we select, can this product be recycled in most areas? If it is not easy to recycle it, we talk a lot about upcycling and reusing the packaging. And so there's a blog that we did, I think in April of this year is when it came out. We talked about ways that you can reuse some of the packaging and ways that you can be sustainable in your own homes. And so it's a really cool blog. Check it out. But always looking for those ways to be innovative of how are we going to make sure that this product is sustainable and that the packaging can be recycled whenever possible.
That's fantastic. And for those of you that are watching on YouTube, and if you're not, come on over to YouTube really quick. We'll have the link for that blog down below in the description for all of you.
Yes,
so it's easy, one click right there. And then you can share with your friends and family. So one of the things that we learned last year is obviously we have different ways to recycle. So we have a way to recycle plastic and glass and paper. And so what you can do is you can take your oil bottles, right? You can take the dropper and the cap off, and you can put that in an orange juice jug or like a milk jug. And to make it more fun and entertaining for like your family or your kids, it's a great way to get everyone involved in just making sure that our planet is clean, that we're doing our part to recycle and be sustainable as well.
Oh, it's a great idea. Yeah.
But please make sure to check kind of with your city codes and whatnot on what they allow recycling-wise, because it's different with each county, I think, and different states and whatnot. So you'll just have to check it out there. But we're more than happy to kind of help you along that way. So my question is there a place that they can go to on the website where we have some information where they can find out more on how to use that recycling, or is that what the blog is essentially?
So the blog is probably the primary place.
Okay.
We do have some press releases in the media section of our website that also talk about our sustainability efforts. But I think you've brought up a great idea and something that we need to do. All of our packaging, we should make it really easy for brand partners and customers to know how to recycle it.
Yes.
And so that's an additional section that we'd like to add to the website in the future.
Yes, that'd be great. I know on the Bloom products that we just released at this convention, they had the ways that you can recycle icons on the back of them,
Yes.
which was really great to see. I love that. So now that we're talking about packaging with the products, what is the best way to kind of go forward with the packaging? I know right now there's probably some stuff that we might need to come back to and could probably use an update in a sense when it comes to sustainability for that packaging as well.
Yes, so we're still vetting all of that. So it's definitely a process to go through all of the products that we offer.
We only have like 600 plus,
There's not very many.
No, not that many at all.
So we have to go through kind of one by one and determine, is it recyclable? Is there an upcycle story or a reusable story with it? And if not, are we going to change the packaging? And the answer is yes, we should, right? It's something that this company stands for. It's something that we care about, so we should be doing that. I do want to mention on packaging, we also just recently looked at the shipper boxes. And so shipper boxes now have the recycle symbol on them.
Fantastic.
And they have a new beautiful design that's going to be coming out in January. So I'm previewing something, or sneaking something out there. But it will have a very recycle-friendly packaging.
Ooh, I like that. I have seen the new packaging. It looks
Oh,
great.
good.
It looks
Good,
great. I really, really like it. So one thing that I would also love to see us do, and I think we should do, and I do believe we're going in this direction as well, is going away from print to digital. And what I mean from that is just think of your product guide. That's a lot of pages,
Yes.
not necessarily a lot of trees. That's probably maybe 1/18 of a tree if I had to guess properly. But it's still great to have more of a digital imprint in a way. Maybe that's not the right word, rather than having, a paper footprint. And so I'm happy to see that we're kind of starting to make that transition with more digital stuff with QR codes and whatnot. And there still will be some print stuff available. Is there anything along those lines that you'd like to share?
Okay, so last year, it's only a year old, we launched a digital library. And it's something that's available globally, which is very exciting. And all of the marketing materials are housed in this digital library. It's fully searchable. You can download and print everything on your own if you'd like, or download it and save it to share it later. So everything's available in the digital library that we've created. There will be minimal things that are available for print. So product guide and price list are the two things that we've decided right now today are permanent SKUs with us.
Yes.
So we are currently updating the product guide. I'm sure you're going to get that question, but the product guide will be available. And how we're going to try to be more sustainable is we're printing smaller quantities. So if you need the printed version, it's there, it's available. We will ship it to you. You can add it to your order. But if you don't need the printed version, it's available for free in the digital library. You can download it, save it to your phone, your iPad, your laptop, and it's always there and available for you. So product guide, price list, always available. There will also be brochures. So we're working on a thieves brochure right now.
Ooh.
Part of the new starter bundle that we just launched.
Fantastic.
So we may print that thieves brochure on a limited time. So there may be some brochures that we come out with. We print them for 3 months. It's to help promote a product or a product line, but then you would have them available in the digital library after that.
Fantastic.
Yes.
I'm super happy that we're going about that direction, because if you look at all the restaurants that you go to nowadays, they don't really have menus anymore. There's very few restaurants that I sit down nowadays that actually have like a printed menu.
Yes.
It's usually QR code. And I know some people hate their phones, don't want to use their phones. But for us to do our part in making sure that we're protecting Mother Earth and, just doing the best that we can, I feel like that's a huge step in the right direction, whether you hate your phone or not.
Yes. Yes, we need to do our part. And you're right. It's becoming more and more common. It's definitely targeting a younger demographic. And so I think the more that comfortable we all are using digital, the better the world will be around us, for sure.
So for you, what's your favorite product? And do you have like a favorite story that you'd like to share?
Okay, so favorite product is such a hard one, especially when you've been around as long as I have. I would say my favorite product that's top of mind right now is frankincense. That is one that we use consistently in my home. One Voice is a scent that I love,
Ooh,
so I wear that one
one
a lot.
Yeah.
Kids Power is another really great one from a perfume perspective, so that's a really fun one as well. And then Thieves, we've got a lot of Thieves. Utah's turning very cold here. So we use Thieves. We're diffusing that like crazy in the home. So there's 3. Ningxia Red, I forgot about Ningxia Red. I should say Ningxia Red because that's something we take every day as well. And definitely with the clinical study around Ningxia Red, the impact, even more reasons for me to convince everyone around me to try that product and to use that product. As far as the story around sustainability and why it matters to me, something that Young Living has really brought into my life is not only the products, but their values and beliefs. And so by Young Living caring more and more about sustainability as an employees, 3,000 employees globally, we're all starting to be more sustainable in our homes. And I love that the culture that Young Living creates, that they not only share these messages with brand partners, but when they stand for something, it's something that the employees stand for as well.
Yes.
And so we're making efforts in my home to recycle. We're making efforts to reduce waste whenever we can. And those are things that I get really passionate about. And I'm so glad that I work for a company that cares about that.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. Really appreciate it. I really think that it's great that we're coming back to this and talking about it, because I truly think it's so important that, like I said, we need to take care of this earth. We only have one. And one of my favorite sayings from my dad, he had a lot of really good sayings, but one of my favorites was, give more than what you take. And he would always give back to the earth, to the people, whatever it may be, whatever he took from that in a sense, right? So an actual example of this inside our company is that when we harvest our conifer trees, any of our conifer trees, and this also goes with our other crops, but when we harvest one tree, we plant many more in its place as well, giving back more than what we took originally. And so I love the fact that you kind of share that not only are we promoting this and sharing this with our brand partners, but we're also being the forefront of this. It's not just a look good tactic or something like that, like a marketing gimmick or anything. Everyone really truly follow this because we all have that one mission, that one purpose, that one goal in mind of just to do better, to do our part, to really reduce our footprint as much as we possibly can, the best that we can as well. And it's tricky when we have so many products that are available, but we do try to do our best. And there's so many things that I'm excited for in the future with where we're going to go with this. From sustainability and the packaging, it's going to be fantastic. And we'll have to update you next year on where we are with sustainability, or maybe even sooner.
Yes, I'm excited about that. Thanks for having me.
You're more than welcome. Thank you, Lyndi. And thank you all for tuning into this episode of The Wild Drop. Remember, you can listen on iTunes, Spotify, on YouTube, and the Young Living website at www.youngliving.com. Don't forget to oil up Young Living family. This is Jacob Young, dropping out. Take care.